Hey everyone, thank you for joining. We are just ready to get started. Can everyone hear me? If you can just drop a message in chat just to make sure the sound is working. Yep, all good. No issues. Okay, perfect. We will go ahead and begin then. So thank you all for being here today. In terms of what you can expect from this session, I'm just going to be going over the healthcare bootcamp that we are currently recruiting for that is looking to start at the beginning of February. And this will kind of cover the course content, what you can expect from the application process, and also give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. So I will go ahead and begin. So as you can see here, my name is Dan. Some of you may have already met me, but I am one of the operations managers here at Generation. So my role is to support applicants throughout the application process from start to finish. If at any point you need any support with your application, you want an update, or you want to know a bit more about the bootcamp, you should all have my email. I would have been the one who reached out to you earlier today. Feel free to send me an email, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. In terms of this first section, I'll give you a quick introduction to who we are at Generation, some insight into the healthcare program, and we'll go from there. So who is Generation? So Generation is a non-profit organization that was launched in 2015 with the aim of training and placing learners into life-changing careers that would otherwise be inaccessible. So you can kind of see there from this chart where we're active. So we have a lot of different organizations all around the world. There's Generation UK, there's Generation France, Italy, Spain, the USA, and across all these different kind of hubs, we support applicants into jobs across multiple countries. And to date, we supported about 140,000 graduates into roles across 3,000 employer partners that we work directly with. And on average, 84% of our graduates tend to outperform their peers in productivity and quality outcomes. And that comes from conversations that we've had with our employer partners where, 6 months, a year after a graduate has been placed, we get in touch just to find out how they're doing and get some feedback. And that helps us really build on our program. In terms of the program itself, so the Healthcare Support Bootcamp is a 4-week bootcamp with an additional week for induction, and it is full-time. What that looks like, you'll find out a little bit more later on, but just real quick, it runs from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and it is completely remote. So you would be joining from home on a laptop, and like I said, I'll go over a little bit more detail in what that looks like when you're actually on program. At the end of those 4 weeks, you are then passed over to our placement team, and they're the ones who actually help connect you with employers who are hiring and support you with the employability side of things. And our goal during that time period is to help support you into that first entry-level role. In general, you'll be working towards preparing for the care certificate, and that's a qualification that you can start gaining once you're in that first entry-level role. And that's a qualification that's useful throughout the entire healthcare sector and will help you in kind of setting up your career and progressing within the role that you eventually get put in. On the side, you'll be able to see a list of the program steps. So the most important thing to do right away is if you've started your application to complete the eligibility check and fill in your details. That just gives us some more information about how you are as a person, and then you'll be asked to take an English and math assessment. So this English and math assessment has been designed kind of in conjunction with the assessments you would do for healthcare roles, and in particular in the NHS, the English and maths is a requirement to actually go down the NHS pathway. Once you complete the English and math assessment, if you're successful, you will be invited to attend a group task and interview. And that can just be booked through your application portal. You'll receive an email asking you to essentially apply and book in for your interview, and that'll be with one of our team members. So the interview is fairly straightforward. We basically, again, just ask a little bit about your background, where your interest in healthcare comes from, and what you're hoping to get out of your time with us. All in all, fairly straightforward. There's a bit of a case study that's related to healthcare that we ask you to answer 3 questions on, but nothing too advanced. After that interview, if you are successful, you will then be invited to chat to one of our support team members. They're the ones who work alongside applicants to help with goal setting and making sure that in general you have all the support you need. And then once you've done that one-to-one, it's just waiting for the outcome of your application. So final outcomes of the application are going out on January the 19th to the 23rd. This gives you about a week leading up to the induction. And then once you've had the induction, which is 2 days, you will then have your program start date on February the 2nd. And that'll run for 4 weeks, like I said, through to March the 2nd. Going on to our next slide. So who is this program for? So the program itself is open to anyone, regardless of whether you have a background in healthcare or not. But primarily as an organization, we do like to support applicants who have faced barriers to getting into these kind of sectors, and that includes maybe, lack of access to educational pathways, just not had the experience. So as long as you've kind of got a real interest in healthcare and you enjoy working with people and supporting patients, we're happy to have your application. Most of this that you see on the screen now would have been picked up during your eligibility check, but essentially you need to be aged over 18 or over 19 if you're in London, not currently in education or training, with the exception if you're working on a 0 hours or part-time contract for 16 hours or less, that's completely fine, as long as you're working those hours outside of the program time, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That's completely fine. You need to have the right to work in the UK, and if you are a visa holder, we ask that you have at least 15 months around that remaining on your visa before renewal. And finally, you need to be living in West Yorkshire, West Midlands, or in London. And again, there you can see what we look for is someone who's interested in healthcare, working within social care and the NHS in shift patterns under guidance of a healthcare professional and within a team. So if you're a personable individual, you want to work in a fast-paced environment, you like to problem solve and enjoy talking to people, then this seems like it might be the right fit for you. So an overview of the healthcare assistant role, what would you actually be doing in the roles following the boot camp? So in general, it's what you can expect, monitoring patients' conditions by taking temperatures, pulse, respiration, and weight, providing wound care and injections, including insulins, catheter, stoma, and care, supporting with activities of daily living, things like helping make breakfast, helping, taking them on people on walks anywhere they might need to go, helping with feeding, that kind of thing. Supporting a registered nurse with double ups, so getting that in-job experience, and supporting people who have been discharged from hospital and may be awaiting for a package of care confirming. And this is just kind of a brief overview. In general, these roles can be quite varied, so there are lots more duties and responsibilities, but these are the primary ones that we focus on. Is now a good time to get into healthcare? So the healthcare is something that we've identified as it's constantly growing. Support workers are always needed, so it's definitely future-proof. There's always a shortage of people with the skills to do this role. So if it's something where, if you're looking for a role where you can really build a career and have some job security, this is a good fit for that. On average, we see starting salaries around 23k, with progression going up to 30k in the first 2-3 years. In general, one of the main motivations for doing this kind of job is if you're really looking for a job where you get some enrichment out of helping others, and you really feel some value in what you're doing. So it's rewarding, feeling like you're providing help to those in need. You'll be able to reach those people who are most needing of support while also earning a wage. And you'll be directly in not just the people you support, but also their families. How the program feel. So as I mentioned, each day starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. It is fully remote delivery, so you'll be accessing it from home on a laptop. If you don't currently have a laptop, if you're successful getting on program, we will provide you with equipment you might need if it's, say a laptop, a webcam, or a Wi-Fi dongle to actually take part on the boot camp. That's all provided free of cost. You don't pay for any of that. And it'll just be loaned for the duration of the boot camp. The program itself is built from real life scenarios. We like to train everyone so that they're not just working with, potentials, but actual scenarios that have happened in the workplace. So you're really getting that as close to as an authentic experience as you can, learning through these demonstrations and some of the exercises that we do. So you'll learn technical content, you'll get IT support, and apply it through role play, practicing group skills, and learning the soft skills that you need for the role. And you'll also have a combination of guide, the course deliverer, the tutor, as well as doing some self-study. And in general, the platform that we use is Microsoft Teams, and this is where you'll be able to connect with your tutor, your mentor, as well as the other learners. One thing that we've seen kind of in delivering these programs is that in a lot of instances, learners will actually form a community amongst themselves and help themselves. If you identify an area where you're strong and someone may need a little bit of assistance, we have seen learners kind of take that, be proactive and support each other in those regards. So again, here's the benefits of this bootcamp. The placement phase is completely free, and so is any equipment you might need to borrow. In addition to this, if you'll get online learning with a live instructor, so it's not just recorded material, you'll actually be engaging with the instructor day to day, and you'll get office hours where you can actually interact with them in a one-on-one setting to really learn and find out the areas where we need to support you the most. You'll get the one-to-one mentoring from our support team, so ensuring that throughout every step of the process, you have the support you need. And then afterwards, we'll help connect you with employers and hopefully secure a role for you during that placement process, which I'll go over in a little bit more detail shortly. And then finally, if you are currently receiving any kind of unemployment benefits, such as universal credit, job seekers allowance, you can continue earning that while you are learning on program. So the program will not interfere with those payments. So for this next section, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what you can expect from the support side of things. So our support team is made of professional mentors who specialize in supporting adult learning experiences, motivation and goal setting, developing your employability skills, and providing pastoral care and individual well-being. So that one-to-one meeting I mentioned earlier, after you do your interview, if you're successful, is kind of to gauge what support looks like for you. What are the areas where you might need support? Is there anything we need to consider? Things like, do you need any support in terms of learning difficulties? Do you have any, dependents that we need to be aware of? Any home situations we need to be aware of? And that's also that we paint a good picture of you and know what kind of support you'll need on the bootcamp. During the program, you'll get dedicated one-to-one sessions. We'll help you set your personal goals and help you stay motivated. And we'll really work with you to get an understanding of the role you want and help you to develop your employability readiness with that role in mind. So you'll really get catered support for the roles that interest you. And then post-program, you'll continue getting that support as we help you get ready for interviews and support you with your independent job search. The placement phase itself, this is after you finish the 4 weeks and you graduate. You then have a 6-month placement phase where you're working with our partnerships team. They're the ones based in your local regions who help connect you to local employers and really help support you into that first entry-level role. So post-program support plans are tailored to individual needs. The first week of this placement phase is always an assessment. That's where we'll sit with you and assess where your employability skills are at, what areas you're really strong in, what areas we can support you in. And then throughout those weeks, we'll help you with those areas as we're connecting you with employers to really make sure you are as confident and as prepared as you can be going into the job search process. You'll have one-to-one and group coaching with our employability coach. You'll also get access to the Graduate Hub as well as LinkedIn Learning to support you in your job search. And the most important part, we will connect you with hiring employers and interviews for jobs. So as I mentioned, I'll be in your local area. And usually what this means is that, say we place you in the first month or two, then the remainder of those 6 months would just transition to actually supporting you into that new job that you're starting, making sure you're as confident as you can in your role. Here we can see briefly what the program curriculum looks like. So week 0, you'll get an introduction to healthcare and support worker roles, exploration on the various settings you might work in. So we mentioned, hospitals, private care settings, social care settings, that kind of thing. You'll be told about the different skills, values, and attributes that a successful health worker should have. And then from the following 4 weeks, you will do mixed sessions around technical skills required in the industry, learn to develop other skills such as functional skills, English, maths, and ICT. Emphasis on developing digital skills such as navigating different platforms like Microsoft Teams, Google Drive. And while exploring these technical skills, we'll use different case studies, scorecards, and peer feedback to kind of keep developing those skills. The most important thing here is that we continue developing our curriculum based on the feedback we get from employers, and we pay a special emphasis on supporting patients with dementia, learning disabilities, and mental ill health. And that's come off the back of that employer feedback. So they've mentioned that's areas where we're seeing a lot of demand. So we'll make sure that you're set up with skills that kind of meet those needs. Again, another brief overview of the curriculum. So we'll train you with the generation, behavior, skills, and mindsets, the 15 care certificate standards. So this is helping you work towards that care certificate we mentioned at the start that you will work towards when you're in your first role. And we are actually one of the only boot camps in the UK that covers all the 15 care certificate standards, as opposed to just some of them. The 6 C's of cares and nursing, and then the employability skills, such as writing a personal statement, targeted CVs for the healthcare sector, how to complete the NHS application form, and interview skills geared towards those 6 C's of care. Again, overview of the support available. Experienced tutor and instructor with occupational competency. That means the instructors you're learning from have experience in healthcare. They're coming from that background. So you're really learning the kind of skills that are being applied to the roles today. Mentorship during and after the program. The post-program support from the form of our partnerships team will help you connect to employers, and supporting with any EAL needs, any new individuals with no background in healthcare, and building up that confidence. So even if you don't have a background, by the end of those 4 weeks, you feel confident that you could go into a role and smash it. Here you can see a little bit more about the behavioral skills and mindsets we focus on, things like growth mindset, and future orientation. So once you're in those roles, what opportunities are there for you to keep developing your skills and growing in the sector? Your behavioral skills, communication, so being able to communicate effectively within a team with patients, manage your tasks responsibly, manage your time effectively, all skills that will make you stand out as a high value team member in whatever setting you go on to work in. And finally, I'm just going to cover what the next steps in your application will be. So here you can see the application process in full. So you have the taster day, complete eligibility, the group task and interviews, the mentor support conversation, so that one-to-one where you find out a little bit more about your support needs, and then finally the application outcome, which will be around January 19th to the 23rd. And that's all leading up to class induction, with class starting on February 2nd. So if you've already started your application, you've already completed your eligibility, but maybe you haven't done the English and Maths assessment yet, we do urge that you try and get those done this weekend at the latest. Reason being that there will be a break where Generation is closed over the holiday period. So if you submit it, if you finish those tasks in the weekend, we can ensure that we can get you an invite out to our interview sessions next week. So if you haven't done the English and Maths assessment, then make sure you do that. If you have done the English and maths assessments, just keep an eye on your email. I'll be emailing people to invite them to a group task and interviews. And just check your spam. Sometimes it goes in there, but you should receive an email from us letting you know the outcome either way. So again, just to reiterate, if you haven't started an application, start one now. Complete your English and maths assessments as quick as you can. And then we will be sending out invitations to those interviews. From then on, it'll just be doing a one-to-one if you're successful. And after that one-to-one, it's just waiting for final outcome at the end of January. Interviews themselves will be held over Google Meets. For this, all we ask is that you look into the reasons why you want to join our program, why you're interested in healthcare, and think of some examples of when you provided care for someone else, whether it be a child, a friend, or a family member. And in general, we just want to know about your background and where your interest comes from. So that's everything from my end. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I will go through them now and answer any questions you might have. If you don't have any questions right away, then like I said, you all have my email. Feel free to reach out, and I'm always happy to support you in that way. Yeah, Nahid, you've done both the tests, so I will check I'll check the applications after this meeting, and you should receive an update on that by the end of the week. Okay. Ali, the tests can be found on your application portal. I will post a link to that now. One second. Okay. There we go. That's the link to access your portal, Ali, and that's where you can find your application as well as those English and maths assessments. Stephanie and Joe, thanks for flagging that as well. I will. You'll also hear from me by the end of the week in terms of how we're progressing with those after we've reviewed those tests. Yeah, Andrew, if you've already done the English and maths assessment, I will be reviewing that today and tomorrow, and they'll get an email end of day tomorrow letting you know how we're progressing. Any last questions just before we wrap up? No, if there's no other questions, then thank you all for joining. I said, feel free to reach out. Nahid, right to work documents, they don't need to be submitted until the end of the application process. So we've moved it so if you are successful in getting an offer, you'll upload the right to work documents then. Okay. I'm going to drop my email there in the chat just one last time. So, like I said, guys, feel free to reach out. Just some information, generation will be closed from the 23rd. So, from the 23rd of December through to the 2nd, we will not be available. But reach out if you do need anything, and we'll get back to you once you're back. Alia, if you've tried signing on and it's not working, it might just be that the password isn't the right one. Let me just have a check real quick just to see. You should be able to recover the password from your account. Just do a password reset and you should be able to access it after that. No worries.